Hey everybody, it's Jim here, and this is the Monday Buffet, a show where I tell you what you can expect to see this week on the Audiomo YouTube channel, as well as go over a few other smaller topics that didn't make it into full video form. And before we go any further with this, I want to say thanks again to Evan for coming on and being the first viewer to co-host a podcast with me. We have a few other people in the works, mainly Ian and Rafa. I'm super excited to lock down dates with them so we can do a similar thing, and that's going to be something going forward that I would like to engage with more of you. So if you're somebody that watches this channel that would like to have a conversation, I'm open to talking to any person about anything related to music, and that's just what I enjoy. It's my passion, and anybody who shares it, I'm more than willing to kind of give you the floor, so to speak. But as far as today's video goes, the first thing I want to talk about, amps. Now, about 3 weeks ago, I got turned on to a channel called Psionic Audio. It's an amp tech who basically breaks down and goes over customers' amps that he comes in and he works on, troubleshoots, upgrades, modifies, all that fun stuff. He also gives recommendations on amps that he thinks are worth it and amps that he thinks that maybe you should avoid. And one of the things that he says when he's going over these, and a factor rather, when it comes to making your decision on an amp that you should or should not purchase, is the repairability of it. And it got me to thinking of the bigger picture here. That Fender Tone Master behind me, yeah, it sounds pretty good for what it is right now. It's super light, it's great for gigging, it fills a need. But what happens when the warranty goes out? Not just the fact that the amp is broken, but it leads to a bigger problem that I feel like we have right now, just as a society in general. We want to throw things away and just buy new things. We don't want to be able to fix things. Well, not that we don't want to be able to, it's just we become accustomed to being like, oh, that's broken, replace it. Oh, this phone broke, buy a new phone, etc., etc., etc. And I kind of don't want to participate in that as much as possible. And I think where I'm going in here with the future is I want to be able to have things that will last me a lifetime in the way that the Music Man has done so for me. And that amp is having major reverb problems. It's actually the amp itself, by the way. I have to take that to a tech this week so I can actually track with it, but that's neither here nor there. It's nice being able to know that if something goes on an amplifier, you can have it replaced. So amps like Blackstar, where it's kind of once you're out of warranty, and the same thing with the Tone Master, you're kind of SOL and you have a really expensive paperweight. I guess for some of them at a lower budget, it's not really that end of the world here, but some of these amps, $700, $950, some of these Tone Masters, $1,150. What do you do then? Is it really worth it to have something that you might not even be able to salvage should something go wrong outside of warranty? I want to know your thoughts on that down below. But wrapping up the amps conversation, we will have an amp to demo on this channel. You're not going to be able to buy it new. It had a lot of hype at the time. I had never actually played through one extensively, but I just so happened to find a very interesting deal on my local Craigslist, and I said, this is way too good to pass up. Traded some stuff, and I have something very cool to share with you guys. We're going to be breaking down everything about that amp that's behind me, maybe Wednesday. The second topic I'd like to hit on today is the state of the regular Audiomo podcast, where Dave Nelson is the co-host. I just got off the phone with Dave about 10-15 minutes before I started filming this video. The reason why we haven't been doing anything together is because they all got pretty sick, the little one, his wife, and himself, but thankfully everybody's recovered well and is doing just fine. It's one of those things though, the older you get, and once you have a family, if you don't hear from somebody in a little while, you kind of just give them space, and that's kind of my way of doing it. Dave assured me, dude, don't worry about that, you're not going to be bothering me, just shoot me a text, say what's going on, anything like that. But I don't know, I don't want to step on toes, but the good news is everything's good. We're actually going to be changing the format of that a little bit. We're going to try and condense it down to a half hour and one, maximum two topics per episode to try and make it a little bit more appealing and a little more streamlined, both for our sake and for your sake. So the next episode of that is going to be talking all about delays. That's going to be shot next Sunday night, and you'll see it this time next week. And a final small topic we're going to hit on before I lay out the rest of the schedule for the week. I got a question from somebody who was wondering what happened to the pink Jaguar that we had. Well, about 2.5, 3 months ago, I ended up selling that neck from that guitar because the value of it went absolutely batty high, and I said, I'm gonna cash in on this. I had the custom shop Jaguar, and I said eventually I will find a replacement neck for it. Now I still haven't. However, I do want to rebuild that, but I want your guys' opinion on this. I think we're gonna make a real project out of it this time. And when I say that, I think we're actually going to use the router that my buddy Jay, the gun with the hollow body PRS we worked on a while ago, I switched electronics for him. He left me that router. I think we're gonna do something nuts with it, whether it's TV Jones pickups, whether it's Q knives, whether it's P90s, something. I want to do something really original with that guitar and really do a first ever of something like that, because I've never, kind of modified a guitar to that end where I'm actually cutting out pieces of wood. So in the comments down below, let me know what you think would be a cool idea for that guitar going forward, and that's something that I look forward to building from scratch, really from the bottom up, because it's gonna have nothing original except for the body. We have a full blank canvas to work with. And as for the rest of the week, tomorrow we are going to be streaming live again, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. My wife and I, we're just going to be hanging out, jamming some songs. Funny thing about that, last week when we did that, even though that video was private and obviously not monetized because nobody can watch that video, I still got a copyright notice because we played a cover song and you can't have any fun on YouTube. Wednesday, we're going to be going over the Craigslist amp. Thursday, we're going to be having the live stream at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And Friday is going to be the case for why you should have the Fender Jazzmaster in your arsenal or potentially as your main guitar, and that will be a recurring franchise of videos going over every guitar, making a case for it and what it's really good at and things you might not think it's good at that it actually may excel at, not just specific to the Jazzmaster, but all of the guitars that I have lined up to make this new series with. That's all I have for you guys today. I hope you have a wonderful week. Hopefully I'll see you tomorrow for that live performance stream with my wife. Other than that, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you then. Otherwise, I will see you on Wednesday. Take it easy, everybody.